Good morning. My name is Kylie Caddo and I am honoured to be the 27th President of the Western Australian Council of State School Organisations, and it is my enormous pleasure to preside over the 2012 annual conference. It's great to be back at this wonderful venue, seeing so many familiar faces and meeting first-time delegates. On behalf of the councillors and staff, I extend a warm welcome as you come together from all corners of this great state to represent your respective associations. Your attendance here this weekend is testament to your enthusiasm and commitment to public education and to ensuring that every child in Western Australia has access to a quality education. You are the purpose behind WACSSO. Our organisation exists to provide a high quality level of support and to represent the collective voices of school organisations. On behalf of State Council, I thank you all for the dedication and service that you provide within your own schools and the wider community. The public education system would not be what it is today without the voice of parents influencing governments of all persuasions to ensure that their focus is on providing every child in WA with a high-quality educational opportunity. I would like to acknowledge our invited guests, the Honourable Peter Collier, MLC, Minister for Education, Energy and Indigenous Affairs, Ms Sharon O'Neill, Director-General of Education, and Sharon will be with us on Sunday, Mr Paul Papalia, CSC, MLA, Shadow Minister for Education, Ms Alison Zamon, Greens Spokesperson for Education, Ms Betty Green, Mr David Forrester and Mr Robert Fry, WACSSO Life members, Ms Anne Gisborne, the President of the State School Teachers Union of Western Australia, Mr Brian Lindbergh, representing the Board of the Western Australian College of Teaching, Mr Stephen Breen, President of the WA Primary Principals Association, Ms Anna Prosper, President of the WA School Canteen Association, the Honourable Brian Ellis, MLC, Member for the Agricultural Region and Chairperson of the Rural and Remote Education Advisory Council, Ms Ricky Hendon from the Community and Public Sector Union, Ms Joanne Hirsch from the Isolated Children Parents Association, Mr Bruno Folletti, School Drug Education and Road Aware, and Mr Stanley Jairaj from Youth Care. If you could please all make our guests welcome. Thank you. Delegates, invited guests, observers, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to your 78th Annual Conference of the WA Council of State School Organisations. We would like to begin by acknowledging the tragic passing of one of our P&C presidents, Abby George Kennedy. Abby was the heart and soul of Goolalal Primary School and spent many years taking on various roles across the school, including volunteer canteen manageress, school photographer, elected school council member and the position of P&C president over many years. Abby was a tireless, selfless worker for the school and will be sadly missed. And I do acknowledge Donna Savini, I hope I've got your name right, who is present from Goolalal this weekend. The State Council is directed through broad representation by approximately 670 affiliated P&C associations, which your presence here this weekend represents. It remains vitally important that directions and policy formations are representative and provide State Council with a solid foundation on which to base our activities for the year ahead. This year's theme, Public Education, Promoting Equity, Pursuing Excellence. The Federal Review of Funding has highlighted the widening achievement gap in education, which deepens the inequity in society, and it concluded that the current funding model is responsible for that gap in inequity. The WACSSO policy states the premise that social justice in education will be achieved to the degree that there are no significant differences in educational outcomes arising from ethnicity, socio-economic status, race, sex, physical ability, geographic location, or any other variable irrelevant to the educational achievement. But we know that the playing field is not always level, and those affected are our most precious resource, our children. What costs can be placed on education? How do you tell a child that there is no money for their school, for their class, or for them to aspire to be all that they can be? And how do you tell a family that the school their child goes to simply doesn't have the money to provide the educational opportunities that that child deserves? It was indeed a happy coincidence to see that the Department of Education's strategic plan for 2012 to 2015 has the title of Excellence and Equity, the basis of strong public education system for every student. But with a budget which is continually being squeezed, while the department is constantly being asked to deliver more from less, how does government realistically expect that equity can exist in our public schools? The time is right for change, to level the playing field and get a fairer deal that makes Western Australia the state of equality. WACSSO continues to deliver quality training programs and strives to make these services more accessible to P&C associations. We're constantly seeking improved ways of delivering information to affiliates which supports them in achieving their aims and objectives. We are looking at ways to utilise digital technology to maximise access to training and develop specialised training programs for office bearers. We're also looking towards e-publications as a way of ensuring you have up-to-date information at your fingertips. WACSSO strives to be a driving force in educational policy development. The executive team has set a clear direction in creating new synergies and networks with key stakeholders to ensure that parents are continually and genuinely valued as key partners in the education field. State councillors are involved in representing the voice of parents and carers on a variety of committees. They influence decisions made by government agencies and community organisations to ensure they are in the best interests of students attending our public schools. WACSSO state councillors and staff have been involved in and provided parent representation on a broad range of committees, working parties and workshops over the last year, and these are all listed in your conference guide and up on the screen. As always, WACSSO has endeavoured to improve its contact with the public and stakeholders by actively engaging with the media and becoming increasingly involved in social mediums such as Facebook and Twitter. Some may think it's a good thing, others may disagree. The new and greatly improved website was launched earlier this year, and we were overwhelmed with the positive response from affiliates. The P&C Voice and WACSSO e-News remain the core of our regular publications. Both serve as ways of summarising current education initiatives and changes, as well as publicising important information and dates. The readership is wide and not just limited to parents, but whole school communities, including teaching and administration staff. Affiliates can also get information from the WACSSO staff and state councillors. And state councillors are often the first point of contact for many parents new to their role within P&C and keen to find a source of assistance. At various points throughout their involvement with P&Cs and WACSSOs, parents look for introductory and explanatory information, encouragement and supportive role models.